Here is a quick guide to panorama stitching in Affinity Photo. To stitch a panorama, we can go to File, New Panorama. Then we just need to click Add on the New Panorama dialog to choose our files that we want to add. So I've got some ready to go here. They are pre-processed TIFF files. You can stitch any type of supported bitmap file, so TIFF, JPEG, PNG for example. You can also stitch raw files, although I would advise to pre-process your raw files so you can have finer control over things like highlight recovery and any kind of tonal work that you might want to do beforehand. For anyone involved in HDR or even 3D workflows, you can also stitch the 32-bit formats that we support like OpenEXR or Radiance HDR. But for now, I'm just going to select my TIFF files, click Open, and then with all of them selected, I can click Stitch Panorama. I'll then get a preview of my final panorama appearing here. By the way, if you actually provide several sets of images that make up different panoramas, Affinity Photo will detect that and will actually give you multiple panoramas which you can choose here. For now though, we've just got one, so we will click OK. And this takes us to the special panorama persona, where the images will be exposure equalized and stitched together, like so. One quick way to get rid of the alpha areas around the border is to select the crop tool here, and then choose crop to opaque. At this point, we could apply the panorama stitching, but if we want to crop and then do some further work, we just need to select a different tool, like the hand tool. Now occasionally you may experience a stitching issue. For example, it's quite subtle, but there is a slight mismatch here between two stitched images. It's easy to fix, however. We just want to choose the Add to Source Image mask tool. Then we can just reduce the brush width using the left square bracket key. And what this enables us to do is just single click to identify the stitching points of separate images. So for example, what we might do is click over here, and we're just going to brush into this area. So essentially we're telling Affinity Photo to stitch an additional region from the right-hand image rather than taking an area from the left-hand image. And once we've created our modified mask, we can click Render up here. And there we go, that gap between the two separate images is now less noticeable. Once we're happy with the final panorama, we can click Apply. And we're now back at the main photo persona, where we can now continue to work on our stitched image. And that's a quick guide to stitching panoramas in Affinity Photo.